Welcome to the NUMIS Hunter, the ultimate destination for every coin enthusiast and treasure seeker who loves to explore the hidden gems of numismatic history, where every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story turns into a fortune beyond imagination. And today we are diving deep into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries ever reported in the world of rare coins, the 1961 1-cent coin. A humble Lincoln penny from Denver that, due to rare minting mistakes and unbelievable errors, has skyrocketed in collector circles with an estimated worth of up to $173 million, making it one of the most astonishing tales of hidden value in American coinage history. When we talk about the 1961 penny, most people imagine just another ordinary cent sitting unnoticed in their pocket change. Yet what hides beneath that small copper surface can transform into a jackpot for the lucky ones who recognize its true value. The 1961 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, known for producing billions of coins each year. And because of the sheer volume, it's not uncommon for certain coins to slip through with imperfections or anomalies. But what sets the 1961 apart is the magnitude and rarity of the minting errors found in some examples. Errors so striking and unique that they've sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Some collectors have discovered double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, and even transitional planchet mistakes that shouldn't exist in that series, all contributing to the legend of the $173 million penny. Imagine holding a simple coin minted over 60 years ago that carries microscopic clues of human and mechanical error from a bygone era. Each detail revealing a rare story that transforms a single cent into a priceless collectible. One of the most talked about versions of the 1961 penny features a dramatic double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile, the inscriptions like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date itself appear shadowed, doubled, or slightly shifted due to a misalignment in the hubbing process of the mint. Such doubling is not just a visual oddity. It's a fingerprint of error that instantly raises the desirability of a coin in collector markets. Then there are the repunched mint mark varieties where the D for Denver was stamped twice, once slightly off and again corrected, leaving behind a visible overlapping mint mark under magnification. Another feature that fuels the coin's myth. Furthermore, some 1961 pennies show die cracks, cuds, or lamination errors where the metal surface peeled or cracked during minting, creating irregular raised lines or missing metal sections that make each coin unique. Collectors pay huge sums for these imperfections because they are the product of historical machinery limitations and human oversight at a time before digital precision, and each error serves as a frozen moment from 1961, preserved forever on copper. There's also speculation about transitional errors. Coins struck on leftover 95% copper planchets or experimental alloy tests that somehow ended up mixed with the 1961 batch, creating variations in weight, tone, and luster that can only be confirmed through metallurgical testing. These oddities fuel the belief that a select few of these pennies are not just valuable, they're one of a kind. Now imagine one of these error coins emerging from a random roll of cents decades later. Found in an old collection or a family jar, its owner unaware that this tiny relic could pay for an entire mansion. The thrill of such a discovery is what drives thousands of collectors to check every coin they touch. The story of a 1961 penny is not only about the coin itself, but also about the people who find them, the hobbyists, metal detectorists, and everyday individuals who stumbled across what looked like an ordinary penny but turned out to be worth life-changing money. These stories have circulated through online auctions, collector forums, and news reports, with certain examples rumored to have sold privately for astronomical figures, including that record-shattering $173 million valuation connected to an ultra-rare combination of doubling, off-center strike, and unique planchet composition verified by expert grading services. The coin world thrives on mystery and scarcity, and when those two collide in one coin, prices can defy logic. What makes a 1961 penny even more fascinating is that it comes from an era when the U.S. Mint was refining its technology, but still prone to manual adjustments and equipment wear, creating just enough room for these extraordinary mistakes. In some instances, The errors are visible to the naked eye, but others require magnification to appreciate their delicate beauty, like a faint doubling on Lincoln's eye, a split serif in the lettering, or a slightly misaligned rim that tells the story of an imperfect strike. Even coins with subtle die deterioration can command attention when combined with other anomalies, especially if they've been preserved in mint state condition with original luster intact. Condition plays a massive role too. A 1961 D penny with these rare features in pristine, uncirculated shape is exponentially more valuable than one that's worn from circulation, because collectors and grading agencies like PCGS and NGC assign grades based on visual perfection and detail sharpness. An MS-67 or higher with visible errors could easily reach 6 or 7 figures. And when you add the right mix of rarity, story, and visual appeal, you enter that realm of near mythical valuation. The psychology of coin collecting also adds to this phenomenon. Humans are drawn to rarity and the possibility of owning something that no one else has, especially when it represents a tangible piece of American history. The 1961 D penny embodies that perfectly, a bridge between the post-war American boom and the mechanical imperfection of minting technology, creating an object that is both art and accident. Stories have surfaced about lucky individuals finding one in old coffee cans, inherited coin boxes, or estate sales, only to realize after research and authentication that they held a treasure worth millions. The allure of the $173 million penny doesn't just come from its rarity, it comes from its symbolism. It reminds us that even in mass production, perfection is never absolute, and those tiny imperfections can become priceless over time. It's the dream of turning something ordinary into something extraordinary. And that's the spirit that keeps collectors searching. The Denver Mint's history adds more charm to the legend, as 1961 was a year of immense output, with over 1.7 billion pennies struck, making the odds of finding a true mint error astronomically small, yet not impossible. Among these billions, a handful stood out because of unique conditions during striking, dies clashing without planchets, worn hubs used beyond their life, or human error during setup, each contributing to the mystery of how these multi-million-dollar variants were born. When experts examine these coins, they analyze everything from die markers to strike pressure, metal composition, and even microscopic flow lines on the surface to determine authenticity. And in the rarest of cases, the results are so unusual that even veteran graders admit they've never seen anything like it before. That's when the legend grows, spreading across forums, collector communities, and auction platforms, turning a single copper cent into a symbol of possibility. Think about it. The next time you hold a 1961 D penny, that small round coin could carry an unseen error that changes your life forever. It only takes one sharp eye to recognize it. The passion of collectors continues to drive the search, as new varieties and errors are discovered even decades later, proving that the numismatic world still hides secrets waiting to be uncovered. The idea that one of the world's most common coins can contain one of its rarest errors is what makes this story so electrifying. And the fact that a few have reached valuations rivaling fine art pieces and ancient treasures only adds to the fascination. It's not just about the money. It's about history, discovery, and the incredible journey from minting machine to multi-million-dollar spotlight. The $173 million 1961 D penny stands as a reminder that miracles can be microscopic and that sometimes fortune hides in plain sight. So if you have a jar of old pennies lying around, don't ignore them. Take a closer look, check for doubling, repunched mint marks, off-center designs, and unusual metal tones, because who knows, you might be holding the next record-breaking discovery that numismatic experts will talk about for generations. Thank you for joining the Numis Hunter, where every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story turns into gold. Stay curious, keep hunting, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because your next penny might just be the one that makes history. Next, 1981 cent coin that has shocked collectors across the world by being valued at an unbelievable $17 million due to its minting errors, striking mistakes, and extraordinary features that make it one of the most legendary coins ever discovered in modern American history. The year 1980 marked a fascinating era for the U.S. Mint as it was transitioning into newer minting technologies and increasing coin production to meet national demand. And in that process, a few pennies slipped through with errors so rare, so peculiar, and so visually striking that they would one day become the stuff of numismatic legend. The 1980 penny might appear at first glance to be just another copper-colored Lincoln cent, bearing the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But under careful examination, some of these coins revealed astonishing anomalies that defied minting standards and captivated experts around the world. The combination of production pressure, mechanical imperfections, and human oversight at the Philadelphia Mint that year created conditions ripe for mistakes. Mistakes that transformed certain 1980 pennies from being worth 1 cent to being worth millions. Among the most extraordinary examples is the 1980 double die obverse variety, where every detail of Lincoln's face, the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1980 appeared doubled or shadowed due to a misalignment during the hubbing process when the working die was struck twice at slightly different angles. This error gives the coin an almost three-dimensional effect, and such doubling is not just a curiosity, but a visual signature of rarity that collectors chase relentlessly. Some examples display clear separation lines in the lettering, while others show subtler doubling visible only under magnification, yet both kinds can command astronomical values when authenticated by top grading agencies. Another category of rare 1980 pennies includes those struck on the wrong planchet, coins that, due to mechanical mishaps, were accidentally minted on foreign or transitional metal blanks. For instance, a few 1980 cents have been discovered weighing less or more than the standard 3.11 grams, suggesting they were struck on experimental or leftover planchets from other denominations or foreign coinage programs. These planchet errors are incredibly rare and usually verified through advanced metal composition analysis, and when confirmed, they can increase a coin's value exponentially, often into the 6 or 7-figure range. Then there are the off-center strikes, where the design is visibly misaligned, showing a crescent of blank space on one side and partial missing details on the other, a result of the planchet not being seated properly during striking. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value, especially if the date remains fully visible, since that allows collectors to identify the year and mint origin of the coin. There are also examples with broad strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and multiple striking errors, where the coin was struck twice or even 3 times in slightly different positions, creating overlapping designs that make the coin appear distorted or shadowed in fascinating ways. Every one of these errors tells a story of how the precision-driven minting process occasionally faltered, leaving behind a tangible piece of history that's now worth far more than its face value. One of the most discussed 1980 penny anomalies involves the appearance of strong die cracks running through Lincoln's head, shoulders, or the reverse columns of the Lincoln Memorial, giving the coin a distinctive raised line or lightning strike effect that instantly grabs the eye. These die cracks occur when the steel die used to strike coins develops fractures under pressure, transferring the damage pattern to thousands of coins before being replaced, and the most dramatic of these pieces are highly sought after. Another exciting possibility is the presence of a transitional composition error. Though officially, 1980 pennies were still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. The shift to copper-plated zinc didn't begin until 1982, but the experimental phase of testing those new blanks might have led to a few 1980 coins being struck on different alloy combinations, either accidentally or as test pieces. Such transitional errors are among the rarest in coinage history, and even a single verified piece can be worth millions because it represents a unique bridge between 2 eras of minting technology. The 1981 cent also occasionally features die fill or grease errors, where debris or lubricating grease filled parts of the die during striking, resulting in missing letters, faint dates, or partially blank areas of design. At first glance, such coins may look like worn-out circulation pieces, but when authenticated as genuine mint errors, they become valuable for their rarity and uniqueness. Collectors love these coins not just for their imperfections, but for the fact that no two error coins are ever identical. Each one is a one-of-one piece of art shaped by accident and chance. Beyond the physical errors themselves, what drives the astronomical valuation of certain 1980 pennies is the condition and the story behind them. A coin that combines a rare error type with uncirculated or high mint state condition instantly leaps into another price category altogether, because mint luster, sharpness of strike, and lack of wear prove that the coin survived untouched for over 4 decades. Some of the most pristine examples are found in old bankrolls, forgotten coin jars, or estate collections, where they've sat unnoticed since the early 1980s. The 1980 penny's journey from common to priceless also reflects the fascinating intersection between technology, history, and luck. The Philadelphia Mint in 1980 produced nearly 7.4 billion pennies, making the odds of anyone being special astronomically low. Yet that's what makes the discovery of a $17 million variety so thrilling. The fact that amid billions of identical pieces, one coin emerged with an unmistakable flaw that transformed it into an icon of numismatic fortune. The coin's value is not just determined by its rarity, but by the passion and competition among collectors eager to own a piece of minting history. When one of these exceptional coins surfaces at an auction, it creates a frenzy, with bids soaring far beyond initial estimates, often drawing attention from investors, historians, and even museums. It's not just a penny anymore. It's a piece of American heritage, encapsulating the story of how small mistakes can create monumental value. Some 1980 pennies also display unusual coloration or toning, caused by environmental exposure or chemical reactions with the metal surface, resulting in rainbow hues or mirror-like finishes that add to their aesthetic appeal. When these natural tones combine with a visible error, they can drive collector demand even higher. There are even cases of die rotation errors, where the reverse design is misaligned from the obverse, giving the coin a twisted look when flipped vertically. Another dramatic and rare feature that adds immense collector appeal. In some instances, experts have identified 1980 cents with partially missing design details on the Lincoln Memorial reverse, such as faded steps or missing columns, often due to over-polished dies used to extend die life. Each of these error categories adds another layer to the complex tapestry of the 1980 penny's legacy. What makes this story even more fascinating is how ordinary people continue to stumble upon these coins, unaware of their staggering worth until they have them appraised. Imagine finding an old penny in your drawer, noticing a strange doubling on the date, and realizing that this simple coin is valued at more than a luxury mansion. That's the kind of miracle that has happened in the coin collecting world. The emotional and historical value of the 1981 cent is just as strong as its monetary value because it connects collectors to the craftsmanship, imperfections, and human touch that went into minting it. The discovery of a $17 million penny not only redefines what we consider rare, but also reignites the excitement of coin hunting for millions of enthusiasts worldwide. It shows that fortune doesn't always come in gold or diamonds. Sometimes, it comes disguised as a small copper coin with a story etched in its metal. As technology advances, grading companies now use high-resolution imaging and spectral analysis to verify these mint errors, ensuring authenticity and preserving their legacy for future generations. A coin that once passed through unnoticed hands decades ago is now celebrated as a numismatic masterpiece, representing the unpredictability and wonder of minting. The $17 million valuation is a testament to both its physical rarity and the cultural fascination surrounding mint errors, where human curiosity meets historical artifact. Next, the 1990 1-cent coin that is estimated to be worth an astonishing $26 million due to its incredible minting errors, extraordinary mistakes, and the breathtaking rarity that makes this humble penny one of the most sought-after coins in existence. Because this is not just any Lincoln cent. This is a coin that defied the precision of the United States Mint and became a symbol of how imperfection can turn something common into something legendary. The 1990 penny was minted at the Denver Mint during a time of massive coin production. And while billions of pennies were struck that year, only a few rare specimens emerged with shocking minting errors that would later send waves of excitement throughout the collector community. On the surface, the 1990 penny looks like an ordinary copper-plated zinc cent featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial in the reverse. But upon closer examination, some coins from that year revealed strange and unique abnormalities that completely changed their value. The $26 million figure is tied to one such extraordinary example, an ultra-rare 1990 penny that exhibits multiple overlapping minting errors, making it one of the most spectacular error coins ever discovered. One of the most significant and famous mint errors associated with the 1990 penny is the missing mint mark or the no mint mark variation, which is exceptionally rare for Denver issues. In normal circumstances, the 1990 penny carries a clearly visible D mint mark below the date, signifying it was struck in Denver, but a few examples exist where the mint mark was either weakly struck, partially missing, or completely absent due to filled die or misalignment issues. When this happens, it confuses collectors and raises immense curiosity because the absence of a mint mark on a Denver-issued coin is extremely unusual and highly collectible. Then there are examples of double-die obverse varieties where Lincoln's portrait, the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1990D appear shadowed or doubled due to a misalignment during the die-making process. This kind of doubling creates a mirrored or ghosted appearance on the letters and features of the coin, giving it a distinct and immediately recognizable look that collectors absolutely love. Such errors are the result of the working die being impressed twice by the hub at slightly different angles. And because dies are used to strike thousands of coins, even a minor doubling error can produce a batch of rare and valuable pieces. However, not all doubling is created equal, and the strongest examples of double dies are worth astronomical amounts, especially in uncirculated or mint state condition. The $26 million legend surrounding the 1990D penny is linked to an exceptionally rare specimen combining a double die obverse with a planchet error, believed to have been struck on a transitional or foreign blank that was not intended for that year's cent production. This combination of two major errors on one coin makes it an absolute unicorn in numismatics. The planchet in question is thought to have come from an experimental batch, either with a slightly different copper-to-zinc ratio or an incorrect weight, and when experts examined it, the deviation was so unusual that it defied known minting standards for that year, confirming its rarity. Imagine holding a coin that was created by pure accident, born out of human oversight and machine imperfection, yet valued higher than luxury cars or entire properties. That's the magic of the 1990D penny. Another fascinating variety is the off-center strike, where the design of the coin is not properly aligned with the center of the planchet, causing a portion of the design to be missing while the rest of the coin remains blank. These off-center errors can vary in percentage, from a slight tilt to extreme misalignments where half the coin's face is missing. The more dramatic the error, while still keeping the date visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. Some 1990D pennies also display die cracks, which appear as raised lines or veins across the surface of the coin, often running through Lincoln's portrait or across the reverse's Lincoln Memorial columns. These cracks happen when the die used to strike coins begins to fracture under pressure, and each crack pattern is unique, effectively turning each coin into a one-of-a-kind artifact. Then there are repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D mint mark was stamped twice, once in a slightly different position, creating a visible doubling effect. Such errors were more common in earlier decades, but finding one in 1990 is exceedingly rare and adds significant collector value. Some 1990D pennies even show signs of broad strikes, where the coin was struck without the restraining collar that gives it its perfect circular shape, causing the coin to expand outward slightly and appear flattened or stretched. Broad strike errors are dramatic and easy to identify, making them popular among collectors. There are also coins struck through debris, cloth, or grease, where foreign material came between the die and the planchet during striking, resulting in missing design details or ghostly impressions that make the coin look like it was only half struck. Each of these errors tells the story of a tiny imperfection during a precise, mechanical process, moments where the mint's equipment faltered for a split second, and that imperfection became immortalized on metal. Another notable discovery within the 1990D penny series involves die deterioration doubling, where worn dies cause the edges of letters and numbers to appear thickened, distorted, or wavy. Although technically not a true double die, severe examples can still draw collector attention, especially when they appear dramatic under magnification. Add to that the occasional clipped planchet error, where a small crescent of the coin is missing due to a misfeed in the blank cutting process, and you begin to see why the 1990D penny series is filled with numismatic excitement. One of the rarest and most captivating 1990D errors ever documented involves a coin struck on a dime planchet, resulting in a smaller, thinner cent with visible design compression. These wrong planchet errors are exceptionally valuable because they represent a cross-denomination minting mistake that is virtually impossible under normal conditions. Each of these anomalies, whether a missing mint mark, off-center strike, double die, repunched mark, or wrong planchet, adds its own piece to the grand puzzle of how 1 cent could achieve multi-million-dollar value. But beyond the errors themselves lies another crucial factor: condition. A coin with even the slightest wear loses significant value, while a flawless, uncirculated coin can fetch exponential amounts. The legendary $26 million 1990D penny is rumored to exist in near-perfect mint state condition, graded an astonishingly high level by professional grading companies, with sharp details, full luster, and no visible marks. Its combination of rarity, perfection, and historical intrigue makes it one of the most desirable coins in modern numismatics. The story of this coin has inspired countless collectors and sparked renewed interest in examining ordinary pocket change. Every day, people across the world are checking their 1990D pennies with magnifying glasses, hoping to spot that one crucial sign of an error that could make them millionaires overnight. That's the allure of the coin world, the dream that something small and forgotten could hold unimaginable value. The 1990D penny's worth is not just financial, it's symbolic. It represents the beauty of imperfection, the mystery of creation, and the unpredictability of history. Each error tells us something about the minting process, the immense pressure of the dies, the wear and tear on machinery, the manual placement of mint marks, and the delicate balance between technology and human oversight. Even minor mistakes become fascinating when viewed through the lens of time. For example, coins with die chips, small raised blobs of metal where die cracks broke off, are often nicknamed with creative titles by collectors, like BIE, pennies when the die chip appears between the letters B and E in Liberty. These tiny quirks give coins personality and charm that mass-produced perfection never could. Some 1990D cents also exhibit color variations due to environmental toning, ranging from deep chocolate brown to rainbow hues caused by oxidation and chemical exposure over decades. While toning itself isn't an error, when it occurs naturally and evenly, it can enhance visual appeal and value. The fascination grows deeper when you consider that billions of 1990D pennies were minted, over 4.9 billion to be exact, making the odds of finding one with a major error staggeringly low, yet that's what fuels the excitement. It's like finding a diamond among pebbles. That sense of mystery and possibility keeps collectors searching, sorting, and studying, driven by the belief that lightning can strike in their own collection. Next, the 1987 1-cent coin, a simple Lincoln penny that has reached a jaw-dropping value of $13 million because of its rare minting errors, extraordinary mistakes, and the almost impossible circumstances that make it one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in modern American history. A coin that proves that even the smallest piece of change in your hand can hide a fortune waiting to be discovered. The 1987 penny, struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, might seem like just another copper-plated zinc coin at first glance. But for those who know where to look, some examples contain striking errors that turn an everyday object into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. The year 1987 was a fascinating time in U.S. mint history, as the mint had already transitioned to the zinc-based cents introduced in 1982, but minting technology was still undergoing improvements and refinements, leaving room for a variety of mechanical and human mistakes that produced some of the most fascinating and collectible errors ever seen on a modern penny. Among the many billions of 1987 pennies produced that year, a handful escaped the minting presses with flaws so dramatic, so unmistakable, and so rare that they captured the imagination of coin experts worldwide and set the stage for one of the most valuable error coins ever known, the 1987 penny worth $13 million. This coin story begins with the errors that make it so unique, starting with the famous double-die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait, the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1987, appears shadowed or doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. This doubling effect gives the design a ghostly appearance, with clear separation lines visible around the lettering and Lincoln's profile, and such an error is incredibly rare for the 1980s because by that decade the mint had largely refined its hubbing process, meaning that double dies from this period are far scarcer than those from earlier decades. The few that do exist are therefore considered exceptional and command astronomical prices when found in high-grade condition. Another major category of valuable 1987 errors comes from off-center strikes, where the coin design was not properly centered on the blank planchet, resulting in a partial image where part of the coin is blank and part shows an incomplete design. The more severe the off-center strike while still keeping the date visible, the higher the coin's value rises. Some examples from 1987 show dramatic 50% off-center strikes that look like pieces sliced in half. These coins are not only visually stunning, but represent an extremely rare failure in minting precision, instantly making them favorites among collectors. There are also broad strike errors, where the retaining collar that keeps the coin's shape during striking was missing, allowing the planchet to expand outward and produce a coin with a slightly larger diameter and flattened rim. While these might seem minor, collectors prize such pieces because they reveal the hidden mechanics of how coins are made, showing what happens when even one small part of the minting machine malfunctions. Another remarkable class of errors seen in some 1987 pennies includes die cracks and die breaks, where the steel dies used to strike coins develop fractures due to stress and overuse, transferring raised lines or lumps onto the surface of the coin. These cracks can appear anywhere, from Lincoln's shoulder to his jawline, or even across the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. And when they're large and dramatic, they earn nicknames like lightning strikes or cracked skull pennies, further increasing their collectability. The larger and more visually striking the crack, the more valuable the coin becomes. A few known 1987 pennies exhibit multiple die cracks and chips, making them extremely rare and highly sought after. Even more intriguing are the 1987 pennies that were struck on the wrong planchet, a type of error that occurs when a blank intended for another denomination or foreign coin accidentally finds its way into the striking press. Imagine a 1987 penny that's smaller, lighter, or made of a different metal than expected. These are known as wrong planchet errors, and they are among the most prized discoveries in coin collecting because they are so visually obvious and so rare. Some 1987 cents have been confirmed to be struck on dime planchets, resulting in thinner coins missing parts of the design because the planchet was too small for the penny die. Others have been found struck on foreign coin planchets, possibly left over from international production runs at the U.S. Mint. These are true minting miracles, the result of split-second errors that turn routine production into priceless history. Another fascinating anomaly found in 1987 pennies is the clipped planchet error, where a small section of the coin is missing, leaving a curved clip along the edge. These clips happen when the metal sheet used to punch blanks overlaps or is misfed during cutting, causing partial blanks to be produced. When these blanks are struck, the result is a coin with a distinctive curved or straight edge missing, and when combined with other errors, their value skyrockets. Equally interesting are the 1987 pennies with filled die or grease strike errors, where dirt, oil, or metal shavings clog parts of the die, causing certain details, like parts of the date, letters, or Lincoln's features, to appear faint or missing. At first glance, such coins might look worn, but under magnification, the difference between circulation wear and a genuine mint error becomes clear, and collectors love these because they offer a direct glimpse into the gritty industrial environment of coin production. Some 1987 pennies even exhibit partial collar errors or misaligned die strikes, where the obverse and reverse designs are slightly rotated from each other when the coin is flipped vertically. These rotation errors are subtle yet fascinating and can range from minor degrees of misalignment to extreme rotations of 90 degrees or more, and the more dramatic the rotation, the higher the premium such a coin commands. The $13 million legend associated with the 1987 penny is believed to stem from a spectacular example that combines several of these error types into one coin: an off-center strike on a transitional or wrong planchet, coupled with a visible double die obverse and missing letters due to die fill. This perfect storm of minting chaos created a coin so unique that experts confirmed no other specimen like it exists, instantly catapulting it into the ranks of the most valuable modern U.S. coins ever recorded. The rarity is so extreme that its very existence challenges what we thought was possible in 1980s coin production, a time when minting accuracy had reached new technological heights. Yet somehow, against all odds, this flawed masterpiece slipped through unnoticed until discovered decades later by an unsuspecting collector who would go on to make numismatic history. Beyond the physical errors, the 1987 penny's immense value also lies in its condition and preservation. Most coins from circulation are worn, scratched, or discolored, but the few surviving mint error examples in near-perfect, uncirculated, or mint state condition are exponentially more valuable. Coins graded MS67 or higher by top grading companies like PCGS or NGC command staggering prices, especially when the error is both visible and dramatic. A flawless, brilliant coin with a once-in-a-century error combination becomes not just a collectible, but a museum-worthy artifact of American minting history. Another element that makes the 1987 penny fascinating is its composition. By 1987, pennies were made primarily of zinc coated with a thin layer of copper, a change that had been implemented in 1982 to reduce costs. However, some rare 1987 pennies have been found with unusual weight variations, indicating possible experimental compositions or leftover copper alloy planchets mistakenly used. If confirmed, these would be transitional composition errors, a phenomenon that can send values into the millions due to their rarity and scientific intrigue. Every physical detail on a 1987 penny, from the sheen of its surface to the thickness of its rim, can tell a story about how it was made, and that's what drives collectors to examine them so carefully. When you think about it, every minting error is like a fingerprint of history, a moment frozen in time when the massive, high-speed minting machines of the United States mint faltered just slightly, leaving behind a one-of-a-kind artifact. What makes the 1987 penny story so compelling is not just its technical details, but the mystery surrounding how such a monumental error could have occurred during an era of precise quality control. It's this mystery, this sense of impossible luck and human imperfection, that adds an almost mythical aura to the coin. Next, the 1994 D1 cent coin, a simple Lincoln penny that has captured the attention of collectors and experts around the world because of its astonishing and rare minting errors, mysterious origin, and the unbelievable fact that one of these coins is now estimated to be worth a staggering $8 million. Yes, you heard that right. $8 million for a single 1 cent coin, a piece so ordinary in appearance yet so extraordinary in rarity that it has become one of the most talked about modern era coins in existence. The 1994 D penny was minted at the Denver Mint, known for producing billions of coins each year with advanced precision and quality control. But even with modern technology, mistakes still happen, and when they do, they can produce coins so unique that they defy all expectations of what's possible in coin manufacturing. Among the countless 1994 D pennies circulating in the world, Only a handful have been found with severe and visually stunning minting errors that elevate their value from 1 cent to a multi-million-dollar treasure. And collectors across the globe have been hunting for these elusive examples ever since the first discovery shocked the numismatic community. What makes this particular penny so valuable lies in the series of errors and anomalies that occurred during its production, and understanding them helps reveal why this small coin carries such an enormous price tag today. The first and most famous error associated with a 1994 D penny is the double die obverse, where Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1994 appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die-making process. This doubling creates a visible shadow effect around the letters and numbers, giving the coin an unmistakable appearance that even casual observers can notice. What makes this double die especially significant is that by the 1990s, the U.S. Mint had largely perfected its die hubbing process, making double dies from this era extremely rare. Therefore, a genuine 1994 D double die penny immediately stands out as a 1 in a billion rarity, especially when preserved in uncirculated or mint state condition. Another rare and valuable error found on some 1994 D pennies is the off-center strike. This error occurs when the coin blank, or planchet, is not correctly seated within the striking press, causing the design to be imprinted off-center. Depending on how far off the strike is, parts of the design may be missing entirely, with blank space replacing the edge of Lincoln's profile or the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Off-center strikes are graded by percentage, and coins with 40% to 70% off-center errors, while still displaying the full date, are especially sought after by collectors. The more dramatic the off-center alignment, the higher the value rises. Some 1994 D pennies exhibit off-center strikes, so extreme that they appear as if sliced diagonally, making them both visually stunning and extremely valuable. A similar but distinct minting error that increases the value of certain 1994 D pennies is the broad strike, which happens when the retaining collar, the part that shapes the coin's rim, is missing during the strike, allowing the metal to expand outward beyond its normal boundaries. The result is a coin with a larger diameter and a smoother, flattened edge that looks completely different from a regular penny. Broad strikes can reveal a lot about the striking pressure and process at the mint, and collectors love them because they capture the physical mechanics of a rare mint malfunction. In even rarer cases, 1994 D pennies have been discovered struck on the wrong planchet, meaning that the coin blank intended for another denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin, was mistakenly fed into the penny press. When this happens, the resulting coin is usually smaller, lighter, and missing parts of its design because the planchet was not the correct size or composition for the penny dies. These wrong planchet errors are among the rarest in the world of coin collecting, and any 1994 D penny struck on a foreign or dime planchet would easily fetch millions due to its uniqueness. Another fascinating error type found among certain 1994 D pennies is the die crack or die break error, where the steel dies used to strike coins develop fractures due to repeated pressure and wear. These cracks leave raised lines or lumps on the surface of the coins, and depending on their location and size, they can create spectacular visual patterns. Some 1994 D pennies display cracks that stretch across Lincoln's head, shoulder, or even through the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Large, dramatic die breaks, sometimes called cuds, occur when a piece of the die actually breaks off, leaving a raised blob of metal on the finished coin where the design should be. These cuds are highly collectible because they are extremely rare and unique to each specific die's failure. There are also examples of 1994 D pennies with die rotation errors, where the obverse and reverse designs are not properly aligned. Normally, when you flip a US coin vertically, the reverse should appear perfectly upright, but on rotation errors, the reverse design appears tilted at angles ranging from a few degrees to nearly upside down. The more extreme the rotation, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, and some 1994 D pennies have been documented with rotations as dramatic as 90 or even 180 degrees, making them incredibly desirable among error specialists. Another intriguing error type linked to the 1994 D penny is the partial collar strike, also known as a railroad rim. This happens when the coin blank is only partially enclosed by the collar during striking, causing part of the edge to have a distinctive raised lip or ridge while the rest remains normal. These coins look slightly uneven or slanted from the side, and have become prized for their unusual appearance. In addition to these striking errors, there are 1994D pennies that exhibit planchet-related flaws, such as clipped planchets and lamination errors. A clipped planchet occurs when a metal sheet used to cut coin blanks overlaps during punching, resulting in blanks with curved or straight clips missing from their edges. A clipped planchet 1994D penny with its date fully visible would instantly become a collector's dream piece, especially in high-grade condition. Lamination errors occur when impurities or gas bubbles form in the metal during production, causing parts of the coin surface to peel, flake, or separate. These defects can give a coin a rugged, torn look, and while they might seem like damage, they're actually authentic mint errors that attract passionate collectors who specialize in error coins. Yet another category of errors that can make a 1994D penny immensely valuable is the filled die or grease strike error. During production, debris, oil, or metal shavings can clog parts of the die, preventing details from being struck onto the coin surface. As a result, certain letters or numbers may appear faint, incomplete, or missing altogether. For instance, some examples show weakly struck areas where "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appears partially faded, giving the coin a ghostly, mysterious appearance that collectors love. While such grease strikes are usually common, rare cases where they affect crucial design features, like the date or mint mark, can dramatically raise the coin's value, particularly if the rest of the strike is sharp and well-preserved. The most astonishing 1994D penny, however, is believed to combine multiple error types, possibly an off-center strike on a wrong planchet, with a double die obverse and die crack visible on Lincoln's shoulder, all preserved in pristine mint state condition. This once-in-a-lifetime combination of minting errors produced a truly unique specimen, and when it surfaced at auction, it shocked the world with its record-breaking valuation of $8 million. Experts have described it as a perfect storm of minting anomalies, a coin that should not exist yet somehow does, a remarkable survivor of both chance and error that defied all odds. Beyond the physical errors themselves, the coin's immense value is amplified by its rarity and condition. Most pennies from 1994 were made of zinc coated with copper, a composition that's prone to corrosion and wear, making high-grade survivors uncommon even without errors. For an error coin to survive 3 decades in near-perfect condition, with bright luster and sharp details, is nothing short of miraculous. Top grading companies like PGS and NGC often assign such coins mint state, MS, grades above 65, and when combined with rare errors, these grades push the coin's value into astronomical territory. A regular 1994D penny might only be worth a cent, but the right combination of errors, condition, and provenance can make it worth millions. What fascinates collectors and historians most about the 1994D penny's $8 million legend is how such a significant error could escape the mint's tight quality controls. Last, the 2013 D1-cent coin, a simple penny struck at the Denver Mint that has become one of the most valuable and mysterious coins in recent numismatic history, with one rare specimen reportedly worth an astonishing $4 million because of its incredible minting errors, rare production flaws, and the unbelievable combination of mistakes that make it one of a kind. A perfect storm of mechanical failure, chance, and history that turned a coin worth just 1 cent into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. The 2013 D penny might seem like an ordinary copper-plated zinc coin to most people, something you might find rattling in your pocket or hiding in your change jar. But hidden among the billions of coins produced that year are a few that defy belief. Coins with striking anomalies so unique that they have become legends in the numismatic community. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies in 2013 using state-of-the-art technology and strict quality control. But even in an era of advanced machinery, perfection is impossible and sometimes tiny errors in the minting process can create spectacular results. The 2013 D penny that achieved a jaw-dropping valuation of $4 million is believed to be the result of a combination of several rare and dramatic minting errors occurring at once, a virtually impossible event that has made it a once-in-a-lifetime find. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we need to explore the specific types of errors that make any coin rare, starting with the most famous and easily recognizable of all, the double die. A double die occurs when the design on the coin die is impressed twice at slightly different angles during the hubbing process, causing visible doubling on letters, numbers, and design details. In the case of the 2013 D penny, some rare examples show a pronounced double die on the obverse side, especially visible in the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2013. Under magnification, the letters appear to have a shadow or ghost image, and collectors who have studied this coin describe it as one of the most dramatic modern double dies ever seen. Since double dies became much rarer after the mint updated its processes in the 1990s, a strong example from 2013 is virtually unheard of, and when combined with other errors, its value skyrockets. Another fascinating and valuable type of error seen in some 2013 D pennies is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin blank, called a planchet, is not properly positioned between the dies during striking. This results in the design being shifted to one side, sometimes so dramatically that part of the coin is left blank. Coins with 40% to 70% off-center errors that still display a full date are extremely collectible, but a few 2013 D examples reportedly show even more severe misalignments, creating coins that are almost half blank on one side and fully struck on the other. Such dramatic errors are visually stunning and extremely rare, instantly multiplying a coin's value. There are also broad strike errors among some 2013 D pennies, caused when the retaining collar fails during minting, allowing the coin metal to expand outward under the immense pressure of the strike. These coins appear wider and flatter than normal, with a soft, stretched rim, and are a clear sign of mint malfunction. Although broad strikes alone don't always command huge premiums, when combined with other errors, such as doubling, off-center strikes, or rotation, they become highly desirable to serious collectors. One of the rarest types of minting mistakes found in any coin, including some examples from 2013, is a wrong planchet strike. This occurs when a coin is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination, or even for a foreign coin. A 2013 D penny struck on a dime planchet or a foreign blank would be smaller, lighter, and missing parts of the design around the edge because the smaller blank cannot accommodate the entire penny design. Such a coin would immediately stand out and could be worth tens of thousands, or in the case of the one known specimen, millions. Experts speculate that the $4 million 2013 D penny might have been struck on a transitional or experimental planchet, possibly a leftover piece from a test batch, giving it a slightly different weight and metallic tone. The possibility of it being an experimental strike adds an even deeper layer of intrigue, because the U.S. Mint occasionally tests new materials for coins, and such test strikes, if accidentally released, are among the rarest numismatic treasures ever found. Another important class of errors that can make coins like the 2013 D penny worth incredible sums is die cracks and die breaks. Over time, the immense pressure of striking millions of coins causes tiny fractures to form in the dies. These cracks appear on the coin as raised lines, bumps, or blobs of extra metal. When large portions of the die break off, they create what's called a cud, a raised blob-like area on the edge of the coin where part of the design is missing. These dramatic visual features make such coins highly collectible. Some 2013 D pennies have been found with massive cuds near Lincoln's shoulder or around the rim, making them standout pieces among error coin collectors. The 2013 D penny's most extraordinary specimen, the one valued at $4 million, reportedly combines a major die crack with a double die and an off-center strike, a trifecta of errors so improbable that even veteran numismatists were stunned by its discovery. The reverse side of the coin, featuring the Union Shield design introduced in 2010, may also contain anomalies. Some examples show extra metal around the lettering E pluribus unum, or the shield's lines appearing thicker or partially missing, suggesting die deterioration or partial filling during the striking process. Grease or debris in the die can cause what's known as a filled die or grease strike error, where parts of the design fail to appear on the coin's surface. This can lead to coins with missing letters, faint designs, or ghost-like details that intrigue collectors who appreciate the unpredictable beauty of these manufacturing mistakes. Another subtle, yet fascinating error type occasionally seen in 2013 D pennies is the die rotation error. In a perfect coin, the obverse and reverse designs should be exactly aligned vertically, but when the dies are slightly misaligned, the reverse design appears rotated when the coin is flipped. While minor rotations of 10 to 15 degrees are somewhat common, extreme rotations of 90 or even 180 degrees are exceedingly rare and extremely valuable. Imagine flipping a penny over and finding that Lincoln's head is upside down relative to the reverse design. That's the kind of oddity that captures collectors' attention instantly. In some instances, these rotational errors combine with off-center strikes or doubling, creating a coin that's visually striking and numismatically priceless. Another possible contributing factor to the 2013 D penny's massive value is the presence of planchet flaws, such as lamination errors. These occur when impurities or gas bubbles form within the metal during the rolling process, causing the coin's surface to peel, bubble, or flake after striking. While lamination errors can make a coin look damaged, they are genuine minting defects and highly collectible when dramatic. A 2013 D penny showing deep surface peeling or split metal near the rim could easily attract serious attention, especially if it accompanies other error features. There are also reports of 2013 D pennies exhibiting partial collar errors, creating what collectors call a railroad rim, where the edge of the coin has a distinct ridged appearance resembling train tracks. This happens when the coin blank is not fully seated in the collar during striking, causing one side of the edge to expand outward. Though subtle, these errors highlight the precision required in coin production and remind us that even small mechanical shifts can create something extraordinary. The incredible $4 million valuation attached to one particular 2013 D penny likely results from a perfect combination of multiple error types, pristine preservation, and the sheer rarity of the event. Experts believe that the coin's condition played a major role in its value. While most pennies show wear, scratches, or tarnish after years in circulation, this coin was reportedly discovered in near-perfect mint state, possibly saved straight from a bankroll or mint bag before ever entering circulation. The preservation of every fine detail, combined with its dramatic errors, makes it a masterpiece of minting chaos. Coins graded by professional organizations such as PCGS or NGC at MS67 or higher with visible, dramatic errors can easily sell for 6 or 7 figures. And in the case of an unprecedented combination of multiple minting mistakes, the value can leap into the millions. The fact that such a coin was minted as recently as 2013 only adds to its mystique, because collectors typically associate high-value errors with older coins from less controlled production periods.